Welcome, ladies and gents. Prince Harry makes a fool of himself on TV. Yes, I know, ladies and gents, you may look at me, you may hear my voice and go, he loves the royal family, as do all English people. You'd be sorely mistaken, actually. The great majority of individuals in the UK don't really care that much for the royal family. And this video, and what we're about to talk through, is pretty key evidence of that. We only like the royal family when they shut up and just sit around. Predominantly, you start causing drama, you start creating issues, no one's interested. You start crying as if you're a victim, no one's interested. We check out completely. So I thought the fact that the majority of my audience are American, the majority of people watching YouTube in general are American, you may like this from an English person's perspective. Prince Harry's tell-all ITV interview, whatever you want to call this, watched by just 4.1 million people. This is probably, well, this is abysmal. 4.1 million people decided to watch this. ITV, which is a British not news station, but it's a channel, basically. This was absolutely abysmal. Really, really abysmal. And it's very, very, very indicative of how the UK populace has checked out from this whole drama of Harry and Meghan. We don't care about them. We don't like them. We're not interested in them. It's not our wheelhouse. We don't care about them anymore. And a lot of it is to do with the fact that, one, you're causing drama unnecessarily. No one's interested in that. The UK is very reserved. English people are quite reserved. But then also they went on TV, Oprah, and started calling everyone racist. Don't really take too kindly to that, generally. Obviously, as if I've got to tell you. But like I said, this is indicative of that. So Prince Harry's tell-all with ITV's Tom Bradby was watched in the UK by a disappointing, albeit very expected, 4.1 million people last night. And this was indeed last night. With just 1/3 of the audience who watched his and wife Meghan Markle's Oprah Winfrey interview tuning in. So it goes to show, we don't care about them as much as you Americans do, it seems. I guess. While the BBC may have been concerned that Harry's much-trailed fireside chat with Bradby would have dented landmark drama Happy Valley, the Sarah Lancashire starring latter actually grew its audience from week one by 200,000 to 5.2 million people, comfortably winning the 9 PM GMT slot. The ITV interview peaked with 4.5 million and was watched by an average of around 4.1 million, according to Barb data supplied by Overnights TV. I mean, that is really bad. So Happy Valley is just like it's just a drama, basically. That got more viewers than this interview. Like I said, this is not a shock. This was to be expected, but this seems to be a surprise surprise to Americans, which Deadline is populated by Americans. The Oprah interview, which was also on ITV and simulcast by CBS, was watched by 11.1 million in 2021 and ended up being one of the most watched UK TV broadcasts of that year. And that is not that much of a surprise, because that was kind of one of the elements of them leaving the UK. That was their big interview after leaving the UK, and there was quite a lot of stuff happening around that time of year. So around the time of that interview as well. So it's not a surprise that was watched by so many people, but because they keep doing stuff, and because each interview is like, I'm going to finally tell my truth, that's exactly the same every single time you do an interview now, people are just like, well, I'm not learning anything new, all I'm learning is essentially how much of a monumental penis you are. So yes, the viewers check out each time. Followed by a similar tell-all with Anderson Cooper on CBS's 60 Minutes, last night's ITV interview was as explosive as it had been billed. Harry used the ITV's 95-minuter to blast members of his own royal family for briefings, leakings and plantings against him and wife Meghan Markle, along with saying brother William hadn't liked Markle from the start due to her being an American actress, divorced and biracial. He also touched on his father King Charles III's marriage to Camilla Parker Bowles, the impact of the death of his mother, Princess Diana, and the recent Buckingham Palace race row with Lady Susan Hussey and Ngozi Fulani. If you'd read anything about this Ngozi Fulani and Lady Hussey situation, that was a massive joke, and Fulani is a huge race grifter and is actually now under investigation by the Charity Commission for embezzling money. So they shouldn't have fucking done any of that anyway, should they? Let's be honest, because now the royal family look like absolute tits for that. But, grifter's got a grift. There has been much media buzz generated around Harry and Markle over the past few weeks, but the lowish rating may be evidence that the buzz is beginning to fade massively. I mean, the Netflix documentary alone would have put people well off, as if they weren't already. That became the streamer's most watched show in the UK of last year, Netflix said, and remains in the global top 10 with 22.5 million hours clocked. It's not that much. Wednesday's clocked way more than that. Just embarrassingly more. Now, this comment about, I have literally no dog in the fight when it comes to the royal family. I don't care about any of them. But talking about his brother William saying he didn't like Meghan from the start because she was an American actress, divorced and biracial. The latter, that's conjecture at this point. Like, we don't know. And again, this is conjecture. But let's explore it. American actress. Well, generally speaking, actors are not well liked anyway, right? And also, you're not coming from good stock as an actor, right? You're going into the royal family, you're not really good stock. You can kind of see that people wouldn't be very impressed with that. Divorced, yeah, you're dealing with an old institution. A divorcee, not particularly appealing either. The biracial comment, I guess, if that's true, that's horrible. Of course it is. But then there was also this dumb shit that came out as well. Prince Harry says he has spent the last 6 years trying to get through to my family privately before going public with story in ITV Interview. What? You've been going public consistently, literally non-stop you've been going public in an effort to maintain relevancy, which I guess you do have in some regard because I'm talking about you. In the first of a number of interviews promoting new memoir Spare, this is literally him doing the marketing rounds, ladies and gents, trying to get money. Prince Harry has said he spent the last 6 years trying to get through to my family privately before reaching the point of fleeing my home country, fearing for our lives. That is utter nonsense. Like, absolute nonsense. Harry delivered an extraordinary broadside against the briefings, leakings and plantings to the press that have come from members of his own royal family about him and wife Meghan Markle as a reason for his now going public with the first Netflix documentary, Harry and Meghan, and then the book plus a set of interviews, including 3 in the US, in the next 24 hours. Yeah, 3 in the US because you're well aware that the English don't really like you anymore, mate. And he said the following: so the level of plantings from other members of the royal family means in my mind they have written thousands of books. It's got to the point where we had to leave. The distorted narrative is what we wanted to leave to make money, but that's not the case. We would have stayed for a life of service. So why didn't you then? Sitting down for the highly anticipated interview, it wasn't highly anticipated, bet in and watched it, an ITV correspondent, Tom Bradby, Harry criticised some members of the royal family who have got in bed with the devil being the British tabloid media. That is true, but that is the same with politicians in general as well. While he understands why they did this, he's after reconciliation and is therefore telling his story via media as well. That's pretty hypocritical of you, but alright. One's good. It's fine when I do it, not when other people do. Boo. Yeah, sure, mate. So he's telling his story via documentaries and a book. Harry didn't elaborate on who he's referring to with his devil remarks, but they will no doubt have the British commentarist playing guessing games following a deep dive 90-minute interview that may leave his hopes of reconciliation a fair few steps further away. This is the thing. You're looking for reconciliation, mate. You're going the wrong way around it. No one's interested in you, to be fair. Literally, no one's interested. He urged his family to put in a lot of work on themselves in the same vein as he has, pointing to his recognition of issues with unconscious bias. Oh, that's right. Get woke, basically, is what he's saying. The royal family needs to get woke. They're woke enough, all right? They're woke enough. We're getting all the environmentalist talk, and there's plenty of woke stuff happening with the royal family. We don't need any more. But I just thought you'd find this interesting. Barely anyone in the UK is interested in this. I don't know if you guys are, but from a British person's perspective, an Englishman's perspective, barely any of us give a toss about Harry and Meghan. Barely any of us give a toss about the royal family in general. just in general, like a day-to-day basis, no one really cares. We hear this stuff, most of us just roll our eyes now. But I know, of course, Oprah, pretty big interview in the US, so I thought you'd find this very, very interesting. If you did, give it a big thumbs up, hit like, share, all that good stuff. Hit subscribe to the second channel, you'll find it linked in the description box. Cheers guys, take care.